let's talk about the discordant moment when Joe Biden grabs a MAGA hat off of a kid and puts it on his head, and then carries it as he goes up the stairs to the plane. He didn't no one came in and took that away from him and said, "No, you can't have that, Joe." He's like, "No, this is mine." Like they took Joe Biden's $300 million war chest. Okay. They're fucking with the sentencing of Hunter Biden, and they're using it to keep Joe under control because he can't pardon Hunter until after Hunter's been sentenced. So they moved the sentencing to after the election. They'll keep stringing him along. And Joe's like, you stole my money. And the Pentagon has now basically told him, look, we're done with Ukraine. I don't care. The British may want to get us involved in the war, but we're not fighting this war on their behalf. It's over, Joe. So if you believe, with all of this and the coup story and the this, that, and everything else, if you string all those pieces together, did Joe Biden make a deal with Trump to stay out of jail, to this, that, and to get all this stuff done that the Democrats won't give him because they, at this point, I'm having a hard time even believing that anybody can even credibly put together a plan or a narrative that Kamala Harris is competitive in this election.
Well,
she's not.
No, well, that's what I wanted to get to. But before we get to that,
okay, right,
pulling on that thread that you're just pulling on and extending it,
mm-hmm.
and if we're gonna go with that,
sure,
that theory, like Jill Biden sitting at the head of the table and running the first whatever it was committee meeting in over a year, I believe, is just like an overt we're gonna make a mockery of this whole situation and make it obvious to the people.
Right.
Joe's
that's a good way to read that. That's a good. That Joe Biden is running a cabinet.
Did we lose him?
But I was talking and then it said thank you. I'm like, what? But I didn't do anything. I'm sorry. Was I about to say something rude? I don't know. Normally, of course, I do say something rude. That's like my shtick. But no, the Jill Biden running the cabinet meeting was hilarious. I think the way you just described it was the right one, which is that the whole Biden crime family, think of the Bidens as one of the mafia crime families that run America. And Joe has his ego and he has his legacy that he wants and blah, 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 blah. And this is how he was going to get paid. And then they put it aside and stole his money. And now they're holding his quote unquote legacy over his head. And Ukraine was to be his legacy to continue into the future. I hope I'm not gone.
You're good.
Okay. That was supposed to be his legacy and for his family, and that they were going to be able to, pull their vig off the world for the next 2 generations or whatever. That's the whole shtick of being in Congress was for 60 years was that. And this was the gold watch and the whole thing. And they took it all away from him. Now, a guy like Joe Biden, it's not like he's like, we want to make fun of him now because he's been decompensating and he's sporifying as a mushroom in the White House and all this other stuff. But Joe Biden is a fucking prick, dude. He always has been. And, he's a nasty piece of work and he's angry and he still has 3 or 4 hours worth of lucidity a day. And he knows exactly what's been done to him. So I have no problem believing that at that moment, in this moment, if he's looking at the polling and they're sitting around looking at it going, she didn't have a hoot in hell of fucking winning. If I want to get out of this with anything intact, if I want to get out of this with my ass and my children's asses somewhat intact and get some of the money that was promised to me, I got to go to the other crime boss or the incoming crime boss, and that would be Donald Trump. And that makes sense to me. It seems far-fetched. It seems weird. I'm not saying it happened, but it makes sense. Hence the whole MAGA hat thing and putting all that together. So, go with it. I don't know.
Plausible.
I think it's plausible.
Definitely plausible.
It's at least fun. We just talk about it. We don't always have to like be right about this shit, but we should be entertaining about it. Let's entertain that idea and then see if it comes true.
Hey, you. Do you still have your Bitcoin on an exchange? Don't hold your Bitcoin on an exchange. Take it into self-custody. If you're looking for an easy way to do that, we have the BitKey. BitKey is Bitcoin made easy to use and hard to lose. Take the first step. Get your Bitcoin off the exchange. Check out the link in the show notes. That'll get you 20% off your BitKey, or use the code TFTC20 at checkout.